Hello, this is Falling here from Team Liquid, and just wanting to show the difference or what makes a unit more likely to be an A-move unit versus a unit that is more likely to be constantly microed. And so a different video, I'm going to focus on the Colossus, but I think it will be helpful to just compare the Vulture to the Hellion. Because in fact they're both microable. You have the kiting with the Hellion and the Vulture Patrol micro with of course the Vulture, and but there's some interesting differences between the two that I think will highlight part of the differences that I am pulling out between units. And so the main thing that seems to make a difference on whether a unit is extremely microable is burst shot. And so for instance, I think I don't have speed up again. There we go. So we're just going to attack, move in, and we got that grenade, and there's that pause in between, so it's not continuous fire. And so what that means is when the grenade fires out, there's a time in between when the next grenade is going to go out and where you're not doing damage. So fires, and you can move around and you're not wasting any damage. So you can, with continuous shot, of course, move back and micro, but you're actually losing potential damage. Or if the burst shot is longer, then if you move faster than the full damage, then you're losing damage. But there's no such loss, no such sacrifice when this is a short burst damage. And so the other thing that helps with a micro unit is its speed. Not necessarily top speed, although that does help. But the speed between attacking and then being able to move, or moving and then being able to attack, or just acceleration from stop to going again. And so to put that all together with Vulture Patrol. So for those of you that don't know how this works, it's actually pretty simple to learn the basics of it, but there's sort of one of those things, degrees of control. So I'm not a Terran player, I've learned it, but I'm definitely not the best at it, that's for sure. And that's one of those neat things about it, is there's better degrees of control. And so basically I'm going to find a enemy unit, and I'm going to get close enough that it's going to chase me, because it's just against the computer AI, so there's some things that are going to be a little bit funny. And I'm going to retreat away just with right click, and then I'm just going to flip around with Patrol, or hit it with my keyboard, Patrol, to go back. And it just happens to be Patrol, that's the fast way that a Vulture turns around in Brood War. It could be really any button, attack, move back, or whatever. That doesn't really matter so much. But when it reaches its destination, then it'll fire at a unit with its burst shot, if there's any enemies in the way. But because it's like this short burst, we can immediately retreat back. So then basically it's Patrol, right click back, Patrol, right click back, Patrol, right click back. And that is at the heart what Patrol Micro is. So for instance, and so, I mean, I got a little bit of damage on it, but I can sort of endlessly fight against these Zerglings and not take near so much damage as I otherwise would. And at its heart, it's actually not too different, in theory, from attack, or I should say stutter step, micro from Marines and Marauders. You're basically going in, attacking, retreating, attack, retreat, attack, retreat. But part of the difference is just how quick it is. And so with a group of them, you can actually just one-shot Zerglings. And if we get them close enough and we go into a mineral line, it's a bit of a spread shot, but we can possibly just one-shot workers. And it's all based on sort of really good control of the Vultures. Now, immediately people's counter argument is that, well, to get this sort of micro that you had in Brood War, all you were really doing is fighting against dumb AI, and we don't want to make the AI more. We don't want to make it stupid. We don't want to have to fight against the computer to fight or to play StarCraft. But in fact, it doesn't actually affect the AI. It doesn't get in the way of it. It's another option on top of it. So, for instance, if I'm this newbie player and I just want to attack move in with my vultures, or maybe I don't even know about attack move, just like right click in. I can do that, you know, and they'll fight and they'll destroy Zerglings, and maybe I'll just do a little bit of moving because, you know, we're learning micro. And they'll fight and they'll destroy stuff, and there's nothing hindering the vultures from moving properly, just if we want to do the simple micro. But it does give an option for better players, better than me even, to one-shot these enemy units and just to be constantly on the move. And even more. And it's that burst damage and immediate pull away that encourages this unit to be micro. I just want to quickly switch over to StarCraft 2. And the Hellion also has burst damage, and that's what allows it, of course, to be kited and be efficient, because yeah, there is some time in between attacking and not. Now I'm going to use a Zealot just because it won't die as fast while I'm talking. But there's some interesting differences. Number one is just how long the attack animation is. Now, it's like, okay, well, maybe it's just just the animation, the actual unit moves fast. Okay, but if you actually look at it, right click, and then when you attack back, there's pause, right? So attack, pause. There's a bit of distance there, but attack back, pause. Click, pause. Click, pause. And although with the Hellion it is microable, it's that sort of delays and pauses in between attacking and being able to move, and attacking and or moving and being able to attack, that pushes a unit to having a greater tendency for it to be an A move. So if you look at the difference between the Hellion and Vulture Patrol, just to see this again, just how quickly, there's no delay at all. As soon as that grenade is in the way, is in the air, we can just retreat as fast as we can. And yeah, you can see the bugged out AI just because I'm playing against the computer without any AI script. And we can, but there's a greater reward for keep on moving around the map. Now, ranged units not going to work so well against. And it's not the case where it's like, oh, some people talk about Brood War has all this crazy micro and StarCraft 2 has absolutely nothing. It's more on a scale, and but it's that difference between attacking and then immediately being able to retreat. And if a unit has a longer attack in general, it's just going to be, be more likely that we're going to see units sitting around in one spot more often. And it's a difference, and the difference between the Vulture and the Hellion is one of just along a spectrum. So it's just, again, going back to that Hellion and seeing that that pause in between. That just makes it a little bit. Obviously, I'm not a great Hellion microer, but there is that slight pause in between, so you can actually click away faster than it will fire, which just does not happen with Vulture micro. And so I'm going to put up another video specifically about the Colossus, because the Hellion, it definitely can be micro, but there's a when you see some of these issues, they show up much more extensively in a bunch of the other StarCraft 2 units. So that's it for this one.